We're going to start down on the mat in child's pose. So today we're going to do a fair bit of hip opening and lower back mobilization. Last week we did quite a bit of upper body strengthening, which I hope you all found was useful. Let me just position that there. There we go. I'll just delay it slightly because I'll boil otherwise. All right. So bring yourself down to your mat and come to your hands and knees to begin with. And take your knees as wide as you feel comfortable to. And then allow your tailbone, now your bum to lower down onto your heels. And reach your arms forward as far as you feel comfortable to go. And you can lay your forehead down onto the ground. And when you're down in your child's pose, just let everything really soften down to the floor. You want to try to relax all through your shoulders. If it's uncomfortable through your hips at the moment, then you can stay higher with your bum away from your heels and tuck your toes into the floor. If that takes a little bit of pressure off your hip flexors. We're trying to release them a lot during today's session because we grip quite a lot with our hip flexors in everything we do. You can allow your hips just to rock from side to side if you wish. So you're opening through your waist, letting your hips relax and release. And you can feel a stretch down the side of your body, underneath your armpits, across your chest. And very slowly start to tuck your hips forward. Bring yourself up to your 4-point kneeling position again. And I want you to spread your fingers nice and wide and make sure your fingers are pointing forwards towards the end of your mat. Really pressing down into your palms and especially into the knuckle of your index finger. Now slide your right leg behind you and think about using your hands to push your rib cage away from the ground and a little bit of pressure into your supporting left shin. Start to exhale, use your abdominal muscles to lift your leg off the floor. And I want you to think about pushing your leg really far away from you rather than feeling like you've got to lift it really, really high. You want to press your leg away. Feel how the front of your thigh up into your hip flexor starts to lengthen and open. Now bend your foot, your knee, pointing your toes, and lift your foot a little higher up and press deeper into your hands. So you're opening a little more through the front of your hip. You're just going to hold here for a few moments, really thinking about widening through your elbows, wrists are nice and strong. Strong across your chest, wide across your collarbones, and slowly start to lower your leg down. Now come back down into your child's pose and notice if either side of your body feels different. If your right hip flexor feels a bit more open compared to your left. And again, you can rock your hips gently from side to side. I definitely feel for me that I've got less pinching in my hip flexor on the right side now. Push your hips forward, round your spine into a little cat as you come up, and then come into a neutral spine position once again. Firmly press down into your hands. Extend your left leg now behind you, and a little bit of pressure into your right shin. As you lift your left leg, you push it away from you to create space in the front of your hip flexor and lift your leg up so you feel the back of your thigh working, and you want to push away at the same time as lifting up. So you're really lengthening that side of your body. Firm again through your hands, elbows wide, collarbones wide, weight out of your right leg. Now bend your left knee so your toes come up towards the ceiling, hip faces down. And then just press your foot up towards the ceiling. Try to relax the side that's supporting you. So relaxing into your right thigh, right side of your bum. And just keep reaching your left foot a little bit higher And push your knee away from you as well. So you're creating length in the front of your thigh. Just hold for a few more moments. Try again to relax into the right side of your leg. Lower your knee down. One more time, sink into your child's pose. Walk your arms forward. You can lay your forehead down if that feels better. And feel if there's a difference now on your left side. Hopefully your left hip flexor feels less pinchy. You feel like you've got a bit more space around that part of your body. Lovely. So from your child's pose, tuck your hips forward. And we're going to stay resting onto our knees to begin with. Now, if you have any discomfort in your knees when you're doing this, it's similar to one of the poses if you've done the yoga with me, which we've done in our yoga, which is called the hero pose. You can always have something underneath your feet just to lift your feet slightly, or a block underneath your bum. We're going to work into our thighs, and we're going to work them quite strongly. So at any point it feels bad for you, then please do stop. It's a little bit of a thigh dancing exercise. So you want to have your hands onto your hips. We're just going to do a little bit now, then a little bit further in. We're working on stretching through our quads, which will release and open through your hips. Press into your shins, crown of your head is up, and just lift your bum halfway off your feet. So your back is nice and straight. Now, all I want you to do is tuck your hips forward and release your hips back. So you're not all the way up here, because then your thighs switch off. You're down a little bit, but your back is not forward or arched, it's nice and straight. And you're tilting your pelvis forward and you're releasing back. Tilt your pelvis forward and release back. Just do 2 more, tilt forward and release back. One last one, tilt forward, release back, and lower all the way down. Now, if you felt that really strongly in your quads, as long as it didn't create any pins and needles pinching or horrible feeling, then that's a good thing, because we need to release our quads we hold way too much tension there. So we're trying to release our kneecaps and our quads to release our hip flexors. Hands come back onto your hips. Press into your shins, lift yourself up all the way this time, and press firmly into your feet. This is also good for creating more plantar flexion, because we spend a lot of time in dorsiflexion where your ankle is flexed. You need to be able to point a lot, so this stretch will help too. Lower down a little bit more. I'm going to come and face you guys. Lower down halfway again, keeping your back nice and straight. And now you're going to circle your hips. Everybody hates this one. I think they always also feel a bit like, oh, I don't know which way to go. So you're circling your hips, really opening through your hip flexors. And now remember which way you're going and come all the way up. Let your quads relax. Feel the tension starting to go from the front of your thighs. Come back a little bit, doesn't have to be too far. Can you circle back the other way? So you're doing lower spine mobilization plus opening through your hips. Do 3 more. And 2. Press to your shins. One last one. Come all the way up. Whew. Feel how that relaxes through the front of your thighs. And lower your bum down. Brilliant, well done. Come and take a seat now onto your bum. Stretch your legs forward. Nice and warm after that one. And lift your hands so they are just lower than your shoulders. Flexing your feet. Crown of your head reaches up. Nod your head and stretch towards your toes. Good. Tuck your toes, pull your toes towards you, tuck your pelvis under and lift up. Hands now come down to the floor. I want you to Bring your feet down to the ground and bring your hands back far enough that you feel like you can push yourself up to the ceiling so your bum can lift off the floor. Press down to your hands, lift your bottom, elbows are soft. Now bring your bum towards your heels and then just press your hips up to the ceiling. Eyes can look up, they can look forward. Strong through your arms, relax your bottom. Now your bum can lower down and hover here, or you can slide your legs back but hover your bottom off the floor and press into your hands. Then slide your bum forward to your heels, push up into your reverse table, elbows bend, keep pressing into your hands, lift your hips up and forward, eyes can come down. Now lower your bum and you can hover here, or you can straighten your legs, slide it back. One more time, bum towards heels, press and lift open through your hips. You can let your eyes look up or look forward. And this time, lower your bottom down. Stretch your legs, but take them wider than your normal position, so they're towards the end of your mat, and roll through your shoulders. Good. So coming into a spine twist with a hip opener at the same time. So I'm going to come and face so you can see. Arms come out to your sides, feet are flexed. So we're going to come through mobilization. Now, when we're talking about spine rotation, just let your arms come down for 1 second. When we're talking about spine rotation, true spinal rotation is when your rib cage can move independently of your pelvis. Because if you imagine that your ribs are like one circle around your spine, so you've got your spinal column, you've got your ribs around your spine, which is a circle, if you can think about it that way. And then your pelvis is another circle, which goes around the lower part of your spine. True spinal rotation is when one circle is moving and your other circle stays still. So we're looking to try and find as much true spine rotation as we can, which means you want to try and keep your hips heavy without gripping at your hips. Now, quite often when you flex your feet, it creates gripping in your hip flexors. So for this one, I want you just to relax your feet and think about relaxing through your hip flexors. And you're trying to move just your rib circle around your spine, but your pelvis stays heavy. So arms come out to your side, elbows soften, your legs can come narrow, you can sit on a block, a cushion, a book to keep you lifted. Remember, we sit right on top of our sit bones, as we talked about last week. And as you inhale, you rotate whichever way you want to go. It doesn't matter which way you want to go. So true rotation through your spine. Come back into center. Focus on hips, staying heavy and forward. Rotate the other direction, doesn't matter how far around you come. And exhale, come back into center. Inhale, rotate, let your head move with your body, so your head's not left behind. Exhale, come back into center. Inhale, we go again, relax your feet, relax your hips. Exhale, come back into center. So this time we're going to go towards the first way you went to begin with. So you inhale, you rotate. Your arm, which is behind you, comes down to the ground. Your other arm sweeps forward and you press up and into a little hip stretch. And you lower down and bring yourself back to the front. Good. And again, twist the other way, back hand comes down, press into your hand, lift up your hips, press into your feet, and lower down. Now you don't have to lift as high as that if you don't want to. Let's rotate again. You can always bend the knee of the same arm that goes behind you, put your leg on the floor, and then reach up. So we do our baby wild thing. Or you can keep both your legs straight. One more time the other way. You slowly rotate, press in, reach your hands up, lower down, come back into center. Good. Legs come together and spine stretch forward. Well done. And tuck through your pelvis, lift nice and high. So far you've done some hip opening. We've worked into mobilizing through the mid part of your spine. So thoracic has got mobilization. We move down the spiral of the spine and we're coming down towards our lumbar, but more hip work. So stay with your feet pressing down onto the ground. Chest is nice and high. Tuck your tail under and start to roll back until you feel like your tummy is really having to work hard to balance you. And now, as you roll further, pull your left knee in and stretch your right leg away from you. Now, if your head needs to be supported, one hand behind your head, keep lifting your chest into flexion if you can. Now, your extended leg, your right leg, feel how you can push your toes away to open through the front of your hip. As you exhale, lift your leg halfway up. Keep pulling your left knee in. Inhale, lower your leg down, stay flexed, elbows stay wide. Exhale, lift through your thigh, halfway up. Inhale, lower down. Now you can always keep your head on the ground if that feels more comfortable and hold onto your leg with both hands. Press your left shin up. Exhale as you lift your right leg halfway up. Keep your ribs heavy and down. Inhale to lower. Feel how you're stretching through the front of your thigh and your hip. Elbows stay wide. Exhale to lift. Front of your thigh working. Inhale, lower everything down. One more. Press your left shin up. Exhale to lift. Now stay with your right leg halfway up and come into your single leg stretch. So one knee pulls in, one leg stretches away, and switch it over. Keep pressing your shin up into your hands and press the back of your thigh away from you. And pull one leg in, stretch one leg away. Let's have 6 more here. And press for 5. And reach away 4. Drop your ribs, drop your pelvis heavy 3. And pull it in 2. One last one. Both legs are in. And lower your head down. Just let your head move gently from side to side. Before we go on to the other side. Excuse me. So you pull your right knee in towards you. You can lift your head up, support your head with your hand if you wish. Press your shin up into your other hand and your left leg hovers off the ground. Exhale, lift your leg halfway up. Inhale, lower it down. Now your left elbow, if your hand's behind your head, needs to stay wide to the side. Keep pressing your right shin up and lift your leg. So feel how it's working through your abdominals whilst you're doing this as well. Good. Keep reaching your toes away from you. Focusing on opening through your left hip flexor as you push your toes away. One more, and we come back into our single leg stretch. So pull your right knee in, both hands hold, and switch it over. One thigh presses away as your shin presses up, and switch. Good. Let's just have 4 more here. Ribs are heavy, and 3. Good. Last 2. Shoulders and hips are still. One last one. Bring your knees in. Head comes down. Gentle movement from side to side of your head. And lower your feet down to the floor. So we're going to come into a really nice lower back mobilization exercise. It's called the corkscrew. If you've ever done this before in Pilates, you maybe see a slight difference in the way that I'm going to teach it for you today. I'll give you a demonstration first and explain how it's going to work. It's really nice for hip work. It entails your legs going over your head. So as long as you make sure you don't bring the work too high onto the top of your shoulders or into the base of your neck, you'll be careful you don't put too much pressure on your C6, which is that bony prominence at the base of your neck. So you start off with being down on your back, your legs are extended up to the ceiling. The easiest way to get into this, squeeze your heels together. You can watch this first one. You inhale to let your legs lower down, so you feel the work through your tummy, arms are heavy. Exhale, you start to lift yourself up, so you're now in your inversion here. Arms are heavy to the floor. Now your legs stay in this horizontal position, and you want to think about taking the weight of your body and shifting the weight of your body over to the left side. So you want to feel as if you're trying to shift the weight of your body over towards your left hip, and that makes your feet move to the left, and then you roll down the left side of your body. You do a little circle of your feet and you lift up on the right side of your body and you come back into center. So think about shifting your body weight over to the right side of your body, and your feet will move over to the right side also. You then lower your spine down on the right side, a little circle forward and lift up onto the left and come back into center. Now, ideally with corkscrew, your weight shifts over, so your feet move over to the right, your weight goes down the right side of your body, circles round, comes up the left, and you come back into center. Now, if you don't like the idea of corkscrew, what I'd like you to do instead is just practice doing the roll over. So you inhale, legs come down, exhale, you lift, and you can pause here. If you don't like doing the roll over, then same thing, you inhale, lower your feet, you exhale, you just tap your feet up to the ceiling as you lift your bum and you lower your legs to the start position. So we're only going to do 4. So decide which variation you want to do. Now, I want you to think about weight distribution. So as your legs are up in your roll over, you imagine you're shifting your weight to the right side of your body. Then you roll down, aiming towards the right side of your body more. You circle your feet, you come back up the left side of your body and stay in center. That doesn't feel good. You literally just do the roll down and the roll over. Make sure you switch sides, go down the left side, circle round and come back up the right. But choose the variation you want. Good. This is your lower spine mobilization. It also opens your hips as you circle down. But if you feel like it's compressing your upper back, please don't do it. Just come into the variation you're happy with. Good, really nice rollovers. Use your hands underneath your back and your bottom to help you lift up as well. I'm just going to do one more for you. So you lower your feet down, you lift into your rollover, weight shifts to one side, you roll down that side of your body, you circle round, roll up the other side, come back into center, and then roll all the way down and keep your legs extended up to the ceiling in whichever variation you are in. I want you to feel the heaviness of your thigh bones. I want you to imagine, you can visualize them slotting into your hip sockets. And remember that your hip starts in the middle of your groin. So that's where your hip socket is, right in the center of your groin. So focus on that part of your body being really heavy. Legs are extended up towards the ceiling. Now taking your legs out into a wide V position, arms come up off the floor and reach up to the ceiling. Now arms don't have to get involved in this if you don't want them to. Now I want you to come into external rotation through your hips. So your legs start parallel and then you externally rotate. So your inner thighs come round the front of your thigh. Arms overhead. Already I can feel my legs starting to work just in this position. Inhale, arms come overhead, drop your ribs. Exhale, lift your head up first and reach your arms through your thighs. Inhale, roll down. Internally rotate your legs. Bring them in together as your arms come down to the floor. This will work your legs isometrically, so small movements. Arms lift up to the ceiling. Legs come wider, externally rotate. Arms come overhead, drop your ribs. Inhale, exhale, lift and press through. Lower your arms down, internally rotate your legs, squeeze your legs in, arms come down to the floor. Now, if you haven't got any thigh shake yet, you're very lucky. Mine are really going for it. Arms come up, legs come wide, externally rotate. Arms overhead, drop your ribs. Inhale, exhale, lift and reach through. Let your shoulders come off your ears. And lower down, legs internally rotate, come together, arms come down, bend your knees and bring your knees to your chest. Good. Just give your knees a bit of a circle in one way and take them in the opposite direction. Stay now with the theme of external rotation as you lower one leg down to the floor and you extend your other leg up to the ceiling. Choose which leg you want to do. Coming into one leg circle. And I want you to really practice how you can feel the external rotation right from the top of your thigh. So bring your leg into parallel and then just do external and internal rotation. So your legs literally just moving from in to out. Pause in external rotation, a little bit of flexion through your left foot, and then take your right leg across your body, circle down all the way around and back to the start position. Good. Circle across, down, all the way around and back to the start. I have got the shakiest thighs. Quite sure what's happening this morning to my legs. And again, take it out to the side. Good. Circle round. One more in that direction. Circle over, out to the side, all the way round and pause at the top. Stay externally rotated. Other direction. Now your left hip needs to stay still. Take your leg down, around and stop. It works into your glutes as well. Leg down, around and use your core. Two more. Leg out to the side, down, around and lift. One last one. Out, down, around and lift. Now keep your leg lifted. Turn it back in. You lift your left leg to meet it. Right leg, come down and let your right leg relax. So your left leg is now lifted up. Coming to your external rotation, internal. External, internal. Notice if one side is a bit stiffer, a bit more restricted. External and internal rotation. One more, rotate it out and in. Now keep it externally rotated. Flex your right foot and keep your right hip still. Your left leg comes across your body. Shoulders stay still. Circle down, around and lift. You can let your left hip lift as you're circling, but you want your shoulders and your right hip to stay grounded. Across, down, around and lift. One more, across, down, around and lift. Reverse your circle. Out to the side, down, around and stop. Out to the side, down, around, and stop. Feel the back of your thigh work. Out, down, around, and one last one. Out to your side, down, around, and stop at the top. Good. Internally rotate. Use your tummy to lift your right leg up and hold your legs both up to the ceiling. Internal rotation and external rotation is great to really keep your hips mobilized. Now extend your right leg down to the floor a little bit. Hold behind your left leg wherever it feels comfortable. You can lift your head if you wish. Now lower your right leg down as far as you can without your pelvis moving or your ribs popping up. Going to come into scissors. We pulse in, 1, 2, switch, hip opening, 1, 2, switch, focus on hip opening, and again, pulse, pulse, lift, press the back of your thigh, your tailbone away, keep the curve of your bum down to the ground, and pulse. We have 4 more, and 3, 4, 2, last one, both legs lift up, bend your knees and come down, good. A gentle rock from side to side. Now to come up, you can either rock up and down, hold the back of your thighs, or turn to your side, and we come all the way up, good. Come back to your hands and knees now, and let's work a little bit more into back mobilization. We're working to thread the needle to open star. Press down into the ground. Your hands push your ribs away from the floor. Knuckles of your index finger press down. Now lift your left hand off the floor. Thread it underneath your right elbow, your right arm. Right elbow softens and reach as far across as you can. Keep pushing into your right hand. You're trying to stop your body lower with your right hand, and you're trying to let your body lower with your left arm. So you're working and opposing muscles here. And then reach your left arm out to the side, a little bit of an opening through your chest, and bring your hand back down. Lift your right arm up, thread it underneath your left, elbow bends. Think about pushing into your left hand to try and stop your shoulder lowering as you reach your right arm under and lift your right arm out to the side into your chest opener. Good, hand comes back down. Let's do that again, but with a little bit of a difference. So you're going to extend your right leg behind you, tuck your toes into the ground, as if you're on runner's starting block. So you're really pushing your toes down, press your heel behind you. Left hand reaches out to the side. Bend down, stretch, and feel how you can press into your right foot to lower down a little bit further, stretching into your waist. Lift your left hand out to the side and reach up to the ceiling. You can get a little bit more mobilization. And hand comes down. Right leg comes in, left leg stretches away, tuck your toes into the floor as if you're on your starting block. Press your heel back, right hand out to the side, slide underneath your left, reach through as much as you can, and then take your arm out to the side. With your leg extended behind you, it gives you a little bit more mobility movement, stretch into thoracic rotation. Hands come down, good. Bring your left knee back in. Just do a couple of cat-cows. Hips tuck forward, nod your head. Press into the ground with your arms. Pull the heels of your hands towards you as your chest comes forward. Lift through your tummy. And again, press your hands down as you push your hips forward and your head nods. And you pull your chest through into your cow and finish in your neutral spine position. Walk your hands forward a little bit more so they're not quite underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes into the floor and lift up into your pike. So you're pressing your hands down to the ground. Keep lifting up through your belly, through your rib cage. Now walk your feet back so your body can now ripple forward into a plank position. Gonna hold your plank here and do some tricep press up. So elbows bend in towards your waist, bend down for 3, press it away. And bend 2 and press. 1 more, elbows bend and hold. Lift your hips high. Now walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend your knees, round through your spine, come all the way up to standing. Let me just adjust my screen a little bit for you there. Okay, so you're in your standing position. I'm going to come and face you so you see the feet position. Heels come together, so you're in Pilates stance, but stay against your mat in the end so you've got the length in front of you. And you're going to reach your arms out to the side. You lift all the way up, squeeze your inner thighs together. Keep squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. You lower your feet down. You dive forward, rounding through your spine. And you walk out into your plank. 1, 2, 3, end in 4. Heels still together, elbows bend. Come into your tricep for 3 and press. And 2 and push. 1 more and push. Hips lift high. Walk your hands back to your feet. Bend your knees, feel the stretch in your hamstrings. Tuck your hips forward. Roll all the way up. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach your arms out. Exhale, lift up to the ceiling. Inner thighs squeeze, heels squeeze. Lower your feet down. Dive yourself forward. Bend your knees, walk it out into your plank. And again, elbows bend. 1, press it away. And 2, and press. And 3, and press. Hips lift. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Now pause here. Stay with your feet connected together. Let your head nod. Really let everything hang down heavy. Now keep the flexion through your back. Bend your knees as much as you can and straighten. Now turn your feet to parallel. Bend your knees and straighten your legs, but stay folded over. Bend your knees. Straighten, feel the stretch in your hamstrings. 2 more. Bend and straighten, shoulders relaxed. 1 more. Bend and straighten. Now tuck your hips forward, bend your knees, push into your legs, round yourself all the way up. Roll through your shoulders. Transfer your weight to your right foot. Lift your left foot off the floor and hold onto your foot. Bring your heel away from your bum and just press your knee down and your foot away from you. Feel the stretch in your quad. And now just gently rock your leg forward and back. Deepen the stretch into your hip flexor. Good. Pause in the middle and release. Everything is shake, switch it over, other side, hold on to your foot, heel away from bum, push your knee down, gentle rock forward and back. Pause in the middle, lower your foot down, everything is shake, roll through your shoulders, and well done. Hip opening, lower back mobilization, bit of tummy. Hope you found it a useful one. Thank you.